Hello and welcome to a Firebird build. I haven't uploaded many Diablo 3 videos lately, but since the patch I have been playing Diablo 3 again. Um, Basically before the patch I only used the mirror ball with uh, conflict. I used this mirror ball here and it was like doing Torment 4 pretty okay, but I could never really do Torment 6. Also because I never managed to loot Vanderwoo before the recent patch. So I was just stuck on Torment 4, but now I can do Torment 6 pretty easily. Um, I have some variations I can do with this build, but mostly I am using Serpent Sparker right now, and I use Mage Beast Gloves and Cinder Coat. And then I'm kind of experimenting with Blackthorn's build and Blackthorn Amulet just because the amulet rolled pretty well. Now, my problem with my gear is that I haven't found a new amulet and a new ring since the patch that I can do a socket in, so I only have one legendary gem right now, which holds me back a bit, but I will just hope I can get a new amulet and ring soon. Now, as you can see, my gear is pretty standard, but there are some other ways you can gear as well. I have been using Tasker and Fierce gloves. Now, these are good for bosses. Uh, I wouldn't use these for overall Rift builds, runs. I just feel like if you're using Mage Beast, you get a little more damage overall than using Task and Fierce. So I don't use these often, but they can be used. Now I haven't got a furnace yet, but you could also consider using uh, cheap two-handed like Crushbane I have here, or even something like the Grand Visor, or if you have a Sunkeeper. This one rolled pretty low, so I'm not using it, but definitely go with Sunkeeper if you have that one as well. Um, I have also been doing, since I looted Vanderwoo in this patch, I have also been using this a lot. Now Vanderwoo suffers a bit from damage in Torment 6 and higher greater Rift levels, so it's not really good to use on the heavy bit damage, but it can pretty much just crowd control all the packs and mobs, so it's a lot of fun if you want to tank. Now the good thing about my Vanderwoo, now it rolled low, but I was able to reroll the cooldown, and then it rolled with lightning damage, which is pretty handy, because together with Frost Nova and uh, the Black Hole Blood Blazer, the one that removes affix, I have 20% extra damage, or at least 15 I think, with elemental exposure, so I can also do some support for my group that I would play with. So Vanderwoo is definitely viable if you don't have a Serpent Sparker or a good two-hander. I can also show my Merc real quick. I went for some really tanky states, so I'm using gain access to all skills. I don't have a second unity yet, so I can't do the bug. And then I use an Assure Wrath just to slow a bit, freeze. And then I'm using just some random ring here, haven't got much better. And then I'm using an SF Jordan. This one rolled pretty low, but it's okay for crowd control. And then I'm using Justice Lantern to get even more block together with my Stomp Shield. So my Merc can crowd control a bit when I'm just kiting around. Now, as most people know, the build is basically just kiting. You want to avoid doing or taking any damage at all. And then basically just get those hydras up as fast as possible. You kind of just start with the hydras and then you begin casting blizzard. So hydras, blizzard, and then you do black hole, get the mobs together, and then you have this the debuff up, and then you will use oh, I'm using the wrong bracers, and then you will use these bracers, of course, round bracers. So after you use black hole and get all the mobs together, you land your meteor, and then you can use mirror images to get even more crowd control. Now the mirror images, they will cast black hole as well, so that's really handy for crowd control. Now I can just go over the build quick. You can use Blazing Hydra for more single target DPS, but I like Hydras for AoE. So I will only use mammoth hydra. It's also good for the boss, rift boss, if it's not moving too much. You can experiment with meteor. Mostly I only use molten impact, but you could also use meteor without any runes, and you can even try meteor shower. But I mostly like to use molten impact. Blazer, it's just good damage. There's nothing really to consider there. You could go with Event Horizon to help your group and yourself, but it's not so important. Blizzard Apocalypse duplicates again crowd control. That's all it does. I'm using Force Weapon right now for some extra damage. You could go with something else, and then let's see about the last one here. You could go with Teleport. You could take what's it called, Safe Passage. Many people use that one. Then you could even try something weird as what's it called here, Gale Force, or even something like what's it called? I think it was just Gale Force. Never mind. Yeah, just Gale Force. And I have also seen people go with both Magic Weapon and Familiar, but I like to use this one, so Prismatic Armor. You could also go with Pinpoint, but I like Prismatic just to get some good survival. And that's basically the build. Now I always take Blur and Dominance. I feel these two are really good together. And then I take Ancestral Presence just because I like the Arcane region so I can spam my Blizzard mode. And you could also take something like Elemental Exposure or Evocation and Illusionist, but it's up to yourself what you like in your build. Now one thing with gear, you could also consider using Tal Russia. You could take Tal Russia Amulet if you find a nice rolled one, and then take the Tal Russia belt. So instead of using black forms, you could use these two and then get the set bonus to get even more Arcane regeneration together with the Grandeur ring. And that's basically some of the options. I'll just quickly show a little bit of the gear. You should get a good Serpent Sparker. Definitely hope to get one above 2.3k DPS. This could be a bit hard. I was lucky to get this one. Now on your boots, you want the same stats as mine. That means all resist and armor. These could be a bit higher roll as well. On your offhand, you want vitality. So don't. I have another offhand in my bank as well. This one is rolled with higher damage, but it lacks the vitality, so I lose 15% toughness. So that's not good. So you want vitality on your offhand. The Royal Ring of Grandeur, that's your roll with critical hit damage. The pants could also just roll like mine, it doesn't really matter much. But try to get some defensive stat on it. Now the Stone of Jot, you need to find one that rolled with fire damage. So mine is re-rolled with fire damage, so it's not good. But if you get one re-rolled with fire damage, so you can re-roll for a socket, it's really good together with a legendary gem. And then the Mage Beast Gloves, try to get one that's a bit higher than mine at least. These could be better. Don't go for cooldown reduction, it's not really needed. You want the most damage out of these. And strong arm braces, you could go with other braces, but I like this one to get more damage after my black hole, so I can aim it, time it with molten impact. And firebird shoulders, try to get one with cooldown reduction. It's always good to get cooldown reduction on your shoulders. And then blizzard or hydra or whatever damage you want, you can reroll on it. It doesn't really matter. I just went for blizzard. Syndicate, try to get one so you can re-roll stats on it. This one could be better. I had to re-roll 3 sockets on this one. Have only found one Syndicate ever. It's quite rare, it seems. The helmet, you can hope to get one with crowd control reduction as secondary stats, but it's a really hard roll to get. So if you can just get something like mine and roll with intelligence, vitality, and perhaps socket, and then re-roll the crit or something, that's good. And the amulet you roll with either it has to roll with critical hit damage, and then it should roll with fire damage or crit chance. So you will re-roll a socket. So say if mine had rolled with critical hit damage and fire damage, I would have re-rolled the socket. No, the crit chance for a socket. So basically, hope to get an amulet that can be re-rolled for a socket, so you can get another legendary gem. It's a bit annoying because before the patch, this amulet went with epic good, like really fine, and now it's just kind of bad. But that's the life of this new patch. So that's basically just the gear options and whatnot. Now I can just quickly let's just take a rift and I'll just go repair. See, I missed that. Good. Now you can't really say that you do fast runs this build. It all depends on density. I can do a Torment 6 Rift in about uh, I would say about 11 minutes or so, but it all depends on the density. And I noticed now that I forgot to take Hydra. Molten Impact shouldn't have been on the. Yeah, that was a bit stupid. I'll just quickly. You can skip ahead. This was stupid that I messed that up. Okay, and just finding Hydra now. Okay, there you go. That's better. Yeah, you can't go without Hydra if you're using Serpent Sparker. So now you notice that my Illusionist unstable enemy will pop there. I can die pretty fast. Sometimes you just get these kind of freak deaths where you just die instantly and you don't even like notice it. I do heal some, so it's not really bad to survive, but these kind of narrow rifts where there's not a lot of room to kite, it's hard to live. And as you can see, where you can't really kite, it's not easy to live. But then it's good that you have the passive that can help every 45 seconds, and then of course firebird set bonus itself. It helps for bad rifts, because you really want to try and stay at the max range. I would also just say that my toughness is right low right now because I'm using the magic weapon, force weapon. I could go with the prismatic instead, but I like to experiment with builds a bit, try to get some more damage sometimes as well. But if I roll with prismatic, you can easily get over, I would say, 12 million toughness, and then it begins to help to survive better on the Torment 6. And as you see, I cast Black Hole there, and then I cast Molten Impact afterwards, so I always have the buff from the braces. That is something you have to get used to doing, because it helps a lot on the damage, at least the initial burst damage. And yeah, basically just line up the Black Hole, and then cast Molten Impact, and then cast Mirror Images right after to get more crowd control. And also just always keep your Hydras up if you're using Serpent Spark, of course. And I die easily from fire chains. It hurts so much, fire chains. It's definitely one of the worst effects I can face. Yeah, as you can see, I managed to, I think I killed almost 2 of them from the elite packs. So the burst damage is really well if you kind of get a good start. And now it's dead. Yeah, that's like 400 million damage there, just in a few seconds. It's really good damage if you get a good start on the mob where you kind of line it up in with Black Hole and then have a perfect hit from Molten Impact. But if you get a good, if you get a bad start where the mobs is kind of, the mobs moves around a lot, so you don't really get to line things up, it's pretty bad damage actually. It's not really effective. But as you see there, I hit it pretty well with the Molten Impact, and elite pack died pretty much instant, so that's nice to see. And pretty much dead there as well. And see, this is a perfect example of what I meant from before. The mobs moves around a lot, so I didn't get to hit them all from the start, and now they're just taking forever to die pretty much. Well, not forever, but it's still slower than some packs that can die pretty much in like a few seconds. So yeah, it's basically based on luck sometimes how much damage you get to do with firebirds, and that's a bit annoying because actually when you're doing puck groups as well and you see people running ahead and pulling instead of you, they kind of tend to spread the mobs out as well, and that's not good for you because you want to gather all the mobs in your black hole like this. The shielding is also something that messes it up a lot. As you can see, the other two died pretty much instant, but this one that managed to shield itself, it lives for some time afterwards. So yeah, shielding is definitely an annoying fix as well. I swear, I still hate fire chains the most. It just seems to be worse, especially fire chains on corrupted angels. That can be painful as they charge around a lot and whatnot. Anywho, the video is getting a bit long now. I think I will kind of end it here. Let's take this last pack now. It's good. They're all together, casting the mirror, and bam! You see there? They died pretty much just from the molten impact, and like 2 seconds my firebird dot started to roll. It's so nice to see that you can kill an elite pack in just a few seconds now. Because before the patch, I was doing Torment 4 all the time, and I probably just soloed Torment 6 a few times, died a lot, so it's a bit annoying. But now when we actually have a viable set that makes wizards pretty good, it's fun to play again for a while until it maybe gets a bit boring again, the game. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you could use some of the information in the video, and goodbye.